Florida's 19th Congressional District Representative and Gubernatorial candidate Byron visited FGCU on February 20th for a private event hosted by the campus chapter of Turning Point USA. According to the organizers, the event was initially arranged as a favor connected to FGCU Board of Trustees member Joseph G. Fogg III.
I had spoken with the trustee Fogg. He spoke at the beginning of the event. He had initially said that the congressman was coming for a business event at Lutgert, and so he was like, hey, maybe I'll talk to him, see if he could speak with your officers for a few minutes. And we were like, okay, great, let's do it. So we got that figured out, and then he was actually like, we're going to do it with all of the students.
The event included a designated section where students were allowed to ask pre-approved questions, followed by an open floor discussion.
I mean, sometimes it can get hard when there's open questions and things, but I think everyone in the room kind of came in knowing that it was supposed to be like a respectful event. It wasn't any debate of any sort.
Students questioned Donalds on topics ranging from anti-Semitism and the Epstein files to energy policy and the building of AI databases throughout Florida.
First thing is, when it comes to anti-Semitism, I don't tolerate it, just like I don't tolerate bigotry. First of all, if you're anti-Semitic, you're going to go paint swastikas on somebody's door or somebody's business or somebody's car. If you're going to stop a Jewish student from kind of go to his class so he can get his education, as far as I'm concerned, you're trying to stop a Jewish student, you're trying to stop a black student, that's wrong. You're trying to stop a white student, that's wrong. Get educated.
Donald addressed anti-Semitism directly and referenced his own security concerns on the campaign trail and comparing the serious nature to the death of his friend Charlie Kirk.
So when my wife knows that there's a threat, that's how you know this stuff is real. Charlie Kirk is a friend, was a friend. Charlie and I plan to do college tours all through Florida this year. That was the plan. So I don't take this stuff lightly.
During the discussion, students also pressed Donald on the Epstein files, asking if he would call for the resignation or impeachment of members of the federal government that were found in the files.
I wanted the Epstein files released. I did not sign the discharge because I think signing discharges is not the way you go about this business, but I wanted them released. When the vote came to the floor, I voted for them to be released. In Florida, if there's probable cause, we will investigate those individuals, but there has to be a deliberate criminal justice investigation and indictment strategy and then potentially conviction. We don't do justice by social media. Remember I talked about the law, Frederick Bastiat, 1850 France? That's what they did, and it destroyed their country. I do not support pedophiles. I want them all to be held accountable to the highest extent of the law, but it has to be by the law, not by the whims of men. And the hardest thing in a nation like ours is to resist the urge to fight for the purge. That is the hardest thing to do. But that's what restraint means. Our system of justice and our system of government is supposed to be stable and even-handed. It is not supposed to move at the whims of the algorithm.
Beyond addressing questions focused on political and social issues, Donald spoke in defense of building data centers within Florida.
My position on data centers is clear. You cannot raise the per kilowatt hour on Floridians. And we have to make sure that you're not damaging our environment and not damaging our water. Data centers are going to be a function of American life going forward. The reason why is because all of you have these things. And every time you swipe, every time you look, every time you stream on Netflix, every time you researching something, every time you ask Grok, every time you ask ChatGPT, it does not happen in the cloud. It happens in a data center.
The events held on campus also drew political pushback from fellow Republican gubernatorial candidate James Fishback, who created a separate spontaneous event outside of the hall where Donald was speaking.
Oh, I was at Seat to Table last night, and a lot of FGCU students were there, and they told me that Congressman Donalds was going to be here tomorrow, and I initially wanted to just come into the event and ask him a question, and clearly didn't let that happen, which I think is wrong, but we had about 100 people out here, took questions from them, heard their concerns, shared my plan for them, and then it was fun. Congressman Donalds had announced this event for the last 2 weeks. There were, how many people? 52 you said? You counted in the photo? 52 Kingston, yeah. So 52, we had 150 out here. He had 2 weeks notice, we had 12 hours notice. That's called ratioing and mogging him. And we will deliver the ultimate mog, which will be on August 18th, 2026, when we win the Republican primary.
6 months ago, he was on stage with me in Madison County, Florida, for an hour. And he asked all the questions. Has anybody seen that video? Huh. I wonder why you guys haven't seen it. You haven't seen it because 6 months ago, he was very complimentary of me. 6 months ago, I think you guys call that phrase glazing. So, yeah, we'll see what happens in a couple of months. If you qualify, you're on a stage, great, let's do it. But I'm not interested in giving other people platforms. I'm running my race. Why would I give somebody else a platform?